Margaret Sullivan, Public Editor's Journal blog, nytimes.com. Homepage. Today's paper video most popular edition, US/global. Search all nytimes.com. The opinion pages. World US. NY/region business technology science health sports opinion editorials columnist contributors letters the public editor global opinion. Arts style travel jobs real estate autos. September 12, 2013, 11:11 a.m. The story behind the Putin op-ed article in the Times by Margaret Sullivan. The Times reader, Lawrence Devine, has a few questions about the Times' publication of an op-ed article in Thursday's paper by Vladimir V. Putin, the president of Russia. He asks, did he call up the editorial page editor and say, "Hey, how would you like 800 words on you? Us and Syria? I'll have it in by Wednesday night deadline, no sweat, I'll take your usual freelance rates." It didn't happen just that way, the editorial page editor Andrew Rosendahl told me Thursday morning, but it also wasn't too much more complicated than that. The Times editorial department was approached Wednesday by an American public relations firm that represents Mr. Putin, offering the piece. Also on Wednesday, Mr. Putin's spokesman, in the course of an interview about Syria, mentioned to the Times' Moscow bureau chief Stephen Lee Myers that an article was in the works. Mr. Rosendahl agreed to review the article and quickly decided to publish it. It was posted on the Times website by Wednesday evening. "I thought it was well written, well argued," he said. "I don't agree with many of the points in it, but that is irrelevant. Syria is a huge story and Putin is a central figure in it, giving the piece great news value," he said. "It has created a major stir, including plenty of criticism." Richard Murphy of Fairfield.com wrote to me Thursday with harsh words for the Times' decision to publish it. He described himself as horrified and said that the Times was aiding and abetting a long-term foe of the United States. Mr. Rosendahl rejects that argument. Read more. September 10, 2013, 1:02 p.m. How fair was a story on the president of Hunter College? By Margaret Sullivan. Jennifer J. Ropp, the president of Hunter College, calls the recent Times article about her a case of assassination by style. The story, which appeared on September 3 in the New York section, set out to examine her management approach and her 12-year record as president. The article was prompted, in part, by a letter written by the former assistant dean. It was sent not by the assistant dean directly to the Times and was the basis of an earlier article in the Chronicle of Higher Education. With the Times article's description of her clattering bracelets, painted nails, raspy voice and a presence some might find terrifying, parts of the article had a snarky snidiness that Ms. Ropp found deeply objectionable. "I don't think it's unfair to talk about how someone presents herself," she told me. "But this is all about style over substance." Read more. September 6, 2013, 10:51 a.m. Decision to publish against government request was not a particularly anguished one by Margaret Sullivan. The New York Times has come under fire in the past for agreeing to government requests to hold back sensitive stories for information, but such requests in publishing the front page article in Friday's paper. The executive editor, Jill Abramson, told me that while she and the managing editor Dean Bockwit went to Washington to meet with officials and gave them the respectful hearing, the decision to publish was not a particularly anguished one. The article says that the National Security Agency has the ability, and uses it, to break the encryption used in a great deal of Internet communication. It's an important part of a continuing set of stories on the N.S.A.S. surveillance and its implications for privacy, many of which have been published in The Guardian and The Washington Post, as a result of a huge leak by Edward J. Snowden, the former NSA contractor. Top editors at The Times listened to government officials' concerns over national security but decided to publish despite their request, because it was in the public interest to do so. Read more. September 5, 2013, 2:16 p.m. On the inherent problem of the public editor's role at The Times by Margaret Sullivan. The Roman poet Juvenal posed this pretty good question that has traveled down the centuries, said Quis custodiet ipsos custodes. It means, but who watches the watchers? In the context of a diatribe against marriage, it comments on how tough it is to enforce moral behavior when the enforcers themselves are corruptible. The question came to mind this week when I received an acerbic email from a reader, Garrett Abramson. He was responding to my Sunday column, in which I